Berlin-based artist Johnny Abbate is someone that I discovered on Instagram of all places. He must have just shown up on my feed. His creative output that he was putting online was interesting. I reached out to him and he agreed to talk to me. And it's a great conversation. So please enjoy my conversation with Berlin-based artist Johnny Abbate. Where we grow up and what we are exposed to growing up can have a big impact on our view of the world as adults. With artists, these views usually shine through, sometimes brightly and sometimes subtly. Johnny is an artist I came across on Instagram. He lives in Berlin and creates two types of photographs. His blue series, dark and serious, and his Polaroids, which are playful and a bit pornographic in nature. It is always fun and interesting to find out where art comes from. I'm excited to share my conversation with Johnny Abbate. I want to talk about your photography. It seems like there is a lot of prep and planning that's done with taking these photographs. Is that accurate?
Yes, the blue pictures are really, really planned. They're really cold from this point of view, but because they tell a story. And I need to plan them, and the lighting it must be perfect, the location must be perfect, the ball must be perfect. Instead, usually when I take my other type of pictures, like the Polaroid or anyway the analog pictures, that's more spontaneous, more crazy. But the blue pictures are absolutely over-planned.
And do you like working in more of a planning way of being creative or more of in an impulsive, spontaneous way?
It's a struggle because I like the finished product. I don't like the process of doing it. So when I take the analog sexual pictures, I actually have fun. I don't have to prepare much because it's just about documenting other people's lives. Instead, with the blue pictures, I like more when I see the finished product. But to go through it, it's really a struggle. But I always tell myself that in the end, also, no director maybe likes to make movies. They like the finished product. So imagine going through the stress of planning and producing. I think no artist likes the whole process, apart from maybe the painters. It's more relaxing to make a painting, yes.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I don't feel that the process of painting is that enjoyable. I feel the exact same way, that it's the end result when I have the finished product and someone is viewing the finished product, or they purchased it and enjoying it in their home. That is what's so fulfilling. But the process of actually going to the studio and painting,
Yeah,
I usually don't like it, quite frankly.
like standing up from the bed, first of all, and then taking the metro, reaching also physical. It's many of my pictures are made in quite of extreme places, abandoned places that are made on glaciers or deserts, and you have to get there, and it's really sometimes I think about it and it's so hard. Also, for example, now it's really dark, it's really cold, we are -2, and you think, okay, I should go out and going to photograph somebody and put all of my clothes on and going through the snow. It's actually snowing already it's like, I don't want to do it. But then it's fun when you finish everything and you put the pictures together.
When you have a photographic series that you've done, what is the starting point? Is the starting point that you get sort of
inspiration of an idea. Just tell me about the process of how it all starts.
For the blue pictures, they all come from the dreams or nightmares I had when I was a kid. I was used to dream a lot about aliens who would come to kidnap me. They would bring me in the outer space. We would travel for years and years. Um, and then I would also have sex with the aliens. And then when I would wake up, I would write everything on a diary, which I still have. So when I do my blue pictures, I recreate scenes from those dreams. So I always know what to do.
How old were you when those dreams started?
Oh, I was so young. Since I have memory, maybe since I was 8 or 10, I remember as a kid that I would watch X Files and then I would freak out and then I would dream those things. And I was just living in a very isolated, huge countryside house. And I was alone all the time. And from my balcony, I could only see the horizon and the countryside. And I was so alone. And then I was feeding myself with a lot of science fiction movies and porn. And so I would have those dreams and I wrote them all down. It's so much, you have no idea. I went on for years and years. And when I take the blue pictures, I recreate the same exact pictures. So I don't go through a process. I just remember and I know what I have to do next.
So these dreams, were they traumatic or were they interesting and fun and exciting? What was the general, or were they different all the time?
They would give me a strange feeling of loneliness, like if I was alone in the universe, which we are. We are on a ball in the middle of the universe. This is quite scary. And I always had this strange feeling inside of me, like if it was not true that I was traveling in the outer space, but that I was actually dead underground. But I was never sure. So I always thought maybe I'm not really traveling, I just died, and maybe this is like my soul crossing the universe. It was like a feeling inside of me, and I had no proof what was the truth.
Okay, so it sounds like it was a way to reconcile all of these feelings and confusion that you had as a kid. I guess that's what dreams always are, really.
I was very confused, yes.
You told me previously that you are from Naples, um, which I've never been to, but can you tell me about like where you grew up?
There is an area north of Naples, and it is a national park. This national park is made by some towns and a lot of green areas. In this area, there are around 18 volcanoes, more or less. Some are off, some are on, and it smells like sulfur. So it's a sort of strange countryside with many abandoned areas, with a lot of archaeology, populations that they came to the coast of Italy before the Greeks, probably, and where many tourists just don't venture. And it was normal to find Greek construction of stones or cemeteries completely abandoned, and then a geyser, and then smell of sulfur. It's a really strange area.
Did you grow up in a town or did you grow up in a town?
In a town, yes, which had the borders with much of the countryside, wild areas of this national park. So I could have both quite easily.
Now, when did you start watching porn?
I found some VHS that my father hid somewhere. But I don't remember how old I was.
Okay.
But I was really young. I was very, how do you say, mature,
Mature?
already mature. Thank you. Already at a young age. Yes. Sometimes I feel like I'm perfectly fine. I'm quite obsessed with porn. I was always obsessed, and I watch a lot every day. But I'm always kind disciplined, you say
Hmm.
in English, and I don't know. Maybe I'm obsessed with it, but I was already obsessed when I was a kid and I saw it the first time. It's just something that I really like. I don't know why.
Aliens
And porn.
and aliens and porn. Do you feel that exploring and taking these photographs to, I don't know, make sense of these dreams, or you're doing something with these dreams that you had as a kid? Do you think this is something you'll do forever? Or do you think like, or will you get it out of your system at some point?
No, I don't think it will ever go away. I'm really obsessed. I live in my world of aliens and in my world of outer space, and I will never leave it. Never.
Yeah. Do you believe in aliens?
I wait for the science to tell me if they actually exist or not. I do not believe blindly. If science one day will tell me yes, they exist, I will accept it. But I do not believe like directly.
Based on your wishing and desires and dreams, that's not enough for you to think that it's real.
It was not a wish. When I would dream about them, it was not really a wish. It was like something I had to accept some way. It was just happening. So I'm not like the type of guy that says I want to believe. I just fell into it. And I mean, I hope they don't exist. I'm scared if this would happen, you know? We already lived so many historical moments, now even a pandemic, and that's enough for now.
Oh, so you have a lot going on. You got the photography with the more sophisticated
Hmm.
photographs, and then you got the Polaroids, which are on your Johnny doesn't give a fuck
Yeah.
Instagram. It sounds like there's a lot of creativity inside you that is is being expressed. So how do you keep everything managed and going and motivated and moving?
I have, with a Mac, you can have different screens.
Yep.
Okay, for every screen, I have the ongoing project, and I have my calendar. So every day, I work on a project, and they're
So
always open, always ready.
so you work on one, each day is dedicated to one project?
Yes,
Okay.
and they repeat every 7 or 8 days. But it's not. I mean, it's not that bad because I have a screen for every project. So tomorrow morning, if I want to continue, for example, a video I'm mounting, I just go to the third screen of my Macintosh and the software is already open, is already there with the point where I stopped some days ago.
Nice. Now, do you have a plan for each of your projects, like a
Yes,
schedule?
yes, I have a schedule for every project. I have sub schedules. So I have my calendar, and then there is the sub schedule for every project.
Are you reliant on other people very much for your creative output, or is it mostly just work that you do?
It's all work that I do apart from one of the anonymous projects that I do with a musician also. And for the rest, it's only myself. But I would love to make something with somebody, but it's not easy to follow me. It's a lot of work.
Meaning it's a lot of work to work with you.
It's a lot of work, and I'm very disciplined. So if I have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to travel 1 hour and climb in some abandoned places, I just do it, and I can't ask a friend or somebody to do it with me. It's too much.
So have you always been a creative spirit?
Always. I did the art school when I was a kid.
A kid, what age?
The high school in Italy, it's from, I think, 13 to 18, probably.
And was that tell me about the curriculum. Was it visual arts? Was it performing arts? Everything?
It was photography, sculpture, and photography, sculpture. How do you say when you work precious metals? Goldsmith,
Gold.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think,
So
or
photography,
yeah.
sculpture, and goldsmith. Yeah, and painting, obviously, drawing.
And all of the art stuff obviously was something that excited your brain.
Oh, absolutely. I'm born in art. You know, when you're born in Naples, in general, in Italy, you have art everywhere, and it's completely normal, and you don't even realize. Um, when I was a when I was a kid, I was used to smoke joints um, on the steps of a church, and I didn't know that the facade was designed by Donatello.
Mm-hmm.
I was used to go to visit my grandma, and often she was in a church, and there were Caravaggio paintings in this church, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And in Naples, everywhere you go, even in the most dangerous and hidden alleys, where you only find junkies and prostitutes, there may be something that was designed by Donatello or a Raphael painting, and when you're a kid, you don't realize it, you don't know.
It's one thing to be comfortable and being raised around all of this beautiful artwork, but it's another thing to be a creative person and to have the drive to actually be creating things. That's kind of, that's part of you.
I feel like I had no choice, actually.
Felt like you had no choice.
Yeah, it was like everywhere around me, and as a kid, I was used to hide in a place. I would climb and hide. It was in the countryside, and while growing up, I realized that that place where I was climbing and hiding is actually one of the oldest cities in Italy, called Cuma. Is an archaeological excavation, and I would sit in the amphitheater. I would hid in the temples, and I would go on top and sleep in a temple, but I didn't know it was that. I was just climbing and hiding,
Yeah.
and for me they were just rocks.
Right.
But I was hiding in one of the, and this entered into my blood, and all of the churches where I would also go to relax when it was too hot. I entered in churches just because the temperature outside was really hot. And I would sit and I would drink and I would pee. And I was using them as a sort of autobahn station, right?
Yeah.
And it was just normal for me. Yeah, completely normal. And my house was not far from this bunch of abandoned rocks with a gallery. And only growing up, I realized it was the tomb of the mother of the Emperor Nero. And I was just climbing into it.
It was at your jungle gym. That's
Yeah.
we call, the term jungle gym.
No, I never heard it before.
So that's what we call like when you go to a playground, the thing that you climb on as a kid.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I was using this stuff.
So tell me about where people currently, how you're getting your art to the world. You mentioned to me that your blue photographs, I believe those are in a gallery or in galleries. I know your Polaroids, I think that those are being shared certainly on Instagram, but other places. Can you tell me about how you get your art out into the world?
Virtually, I use my website, Instagram, and Tumblr. Um, in the real world, I exhibit them in galleries or bookshops or even shops if I like it. So usually this is the way. Also the Polaroids. So I'm quite classic from this point of view.
When you sell your stuff in a gallery or in a bookstore, do you have a show so that you can actually see people looking at the work? Okay, tell me about that experience.
We have a vernissage and a finissage. So, and I hate it, but you have to do it. I don't like the mundane part of it. I don't like to. I don't like when there is art and there are people with glasses of prosecco talking. I find that pretentious, but you have to do it. So yeah, you just invite people and you offer some alcohol, and you hope that some collector comes to buy something. But in the future, when I will find something, some place that really fit me, I really want to do it my style, and not only following the direction of the gallery.
What would your style be?
First of all, one of my dreams would be to make an exhibition in a church, and I would like it to be really dark, and I would like to have some kind of ambient, creepy musician in the background. I don't like the galleries with white walls and a lot of light and smiling people. I want a dark, creepy place with no prosecco.
Now, what about the Polaroids? How do you share those with the world?
The Polaroids are my side, my funny side. Since my blue pictures are depressing and dark, I needed something light and funny. This means that they're also less pretentious, and this means that um, I feel free to exhibit them wherever I like, even if it's a cheap place, even if it's a trashy place. That I don't care. I also exhibit the pictures in the bathrooms of a sex club in Berlin, um, which is my favorite one, Kit Kat. Yeah, since they're just for fun and not pretentious at all, it's just porn, and I don't want to give them hidden artistic meanings. I really feel free to exhibit them wherever I like. Doesn't matter the place. I just want
Okay.
to have fun with it. I'm collaborating with a musician to make a mashup between exploration and music videos. So we are going to explore abandoned places, making one shot clip of 10-15 minutes without interruptions, and is going to make music for it, ambient, creepy music. And I want to develop a plot in it. So we start this Sunday actually, and it was planned since long time. But finally, we bought all the material and we made a plan. And then we will put it out on YouTube.
When you and I did our initial conversation, you had mentioned that you had started out as a musician, and that's something that you don't do anymore. So I get the feeling that you have creative aspects of yourself that have a lifespan, like music kind of happened and then went away. And then you have this active photography that you're doing now. That's kind of in its active stage. And then you have this video thing in the abandoned places that's just getting ready to go. So is that how you always work, that you always have things in different phases?
Sometimes I feel it's just one thing, because my pictures were the covers of my music demos. So, and my dream as a kid was to be a music video director, but it was too complicated. So I kept the music apart, and I made pictures because it was easy. And my style was a way science fiction porn. This is the type of music videos I wanted to do, but I simply divided it. So I make science fiction pictures and I make porn pictures, but with this project of actually going into places and filming, I feel some way I'm connecting to my childhood dream, and everything is absolutely connected. Is everything really the same thing? And I wish I can also start to make videos, because people often tell me that with my blue pictures would be cool to make music videos, to bring that aliens to life, right? It would be very interesting, but it's really complicated. I need to put myself a limit, because I do too many things, and if you do too much, then you start to make them bad.
Well, Johnny, this was great. I'm glad that
Thank you.
you talked to me today.
Thank you. You're too kind.
My name is Ricky McGuckran, and you have been listening to Eager to Know, the podcast. If you haven't already, please go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Join me next week for another Eager to Know podcast.